Hi, I'm Adam Dick. I'm a filmmaker and educator based out of Chicago. Oftentimes with my work, I tackle social issues from illegal immigration to autism, and today I'd like to talk a little bit about gun violence. I'm here with Elliot Fineman of the National Gun Victims Action Council, the NGAC for short. Elliot, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you for inviting me, Adam.
So obviously gun violence is an issue that's thrown around a bit in the media, but often people don't see how it's either relevant to the discussion when we have other problems to deal with, or simply how it could ever be solved or changed from what it's been before. So tell us, why should people outside of perhaps urban areas, which often get stigmatized as the epicenters for gun violence, be concerned with this issue?
Well, the short answer, Adam, is that gun violence affects everybody. When you go out on the street, you're essentially in a game of Russian roulette. Right now, the odds are long if you're not in the inner city in terms of being a victim of it, but the odds are getting worse and worse and worse. The reason you should care is that it affects you and your family. You're at risk. For example, I don't know if you knew, but terrorists who cannot get guns, who cannot buy airline tickets, they're forbidden from flying, can go into any gun store and buy as much weaponry as they want. They can buy weaponry that in fact can bring down a plane taking off or landing. I don't want to be on that plane, and I don't want to gamble that I'm on the wrong plane at the wrong time. Criminals and mentally challenged people who cannot legally buy guns can go to any gun show and buy as many guns as they want. I think that leaving the gun show loophole open, which we can't get closed, is madness. We can't get that law passed. The gun industry, as an aside, is the only industry that is not regulated. It used to be guns and tobacco, but now it's only guns. This means that gun owners don't have to be licensed, guns are not registered. Guns, for example, don't carry insurance. Every gun homicide uses $400,000 of our tax dollars. Over the last 20 years, it's $100 billion of our tax dollars have gone to cover the cost of gun violence. And to me, it's madness that people like myself, yourself, and many I know, who have no interest in guns, don't use guns, don't want to know anything about guns, are paying for the cost of gun violence. So there's many reasons why you should be concerned.
You are in the process of beginning to organize a boycott, a potential boycott against Starbucks? Is this?
Yes, Starbucks is the first company that we will be boycotting. And people often say, well, why Starbucks? What did they do? Mm-hmm. They're a socially conscious company. The reality is that Starbucks, by its behavior, has revealed it strongly supports the pro-gun agenda. Many people don't know that in 43 states where open carry of guns is allowed, Starbucks allows those people to come into their stores with guns. In those very same states, stores like IKEA, Disney, California Pizza Kitchen, Pete's Coffee do not allow anybody to bring guns into their stores because they have a legal right to keep guns out of their stores, just as they have a legal right to require people to wear clothes. So Starbucks has chosen, despite appeals from Brady and a petition with thousands and thousands of names, despite my communicating with one of their board members, Senator Bill Bradley, and giving them a graceful way out, which was a study done to show that the people who open carry guns are not particularly nice people. They're violent, they have terrible histories of violence, many have pleaded domestic violence felonies down to misdemeanors. These are not nice people. So Starbucks could have walked away from this, and that was the proposition I said. Show them this report, senior management can say, okay, we didn't know, we can't expose people to this, we're sure many of the people carrying guns are okay, but we can't do this. We could all go home, I said. But if they didn't, I was going to organize the 14 million people, which I've done, and we were going to boycott Starbucks.
Well, now Starbucks is ubiquitous, to say the least. They're nearly at every street corner. How could you say, or how do you know that a boycott would even be effective against such a large, multifaceted corporation?
Well, here's an interesting set of numbers. I used to spend $8 a week at Starbucks. There's a Barnes & Noble near me, and I go in and read and have a Starbucks twice a week. That's $400 a year. If 10% of our people, if 1.4 million, 10% of the 14 million, stop spending $400 a year, that's $560 million. In 2009, Starbucks' bottom line profit from everything they did was $565 million. Our impact would be enormous, enormous. Their stock price would collapse. Institutions and mutual funds would get rid of their stock. It would be terrible. But that's not our goal with Starbucks. Our goal is for Starbucks to change its position, number one, and two, become a passionate supporter of our cause.
Other than subscribing to your organization or reading your literature, what can people do on their own and with you if they fall on the same side as you, if they believe in your message? What can people do themselves?
Well, what people can do is very simple. They can support the boycott of Starbucks, and they can do that in two ways. They can stop going to Starbucks, they can go across the street for coffee, or in the non-Starbucks stores where Starbucks products are sold, like their Via instant coffee, like ice cream, like frappuccinos, they cannot buy them. They don't have to do the stuff that's not worked very effectively all these years at the federal level, which is to write letters, to march, to hold vigils, to meet with congressmen. No, all they have to do is exert their buying power as consumers. And that's a simple thing, everyone can do it, and it will have an enormous effect.
We're here with Elliot Fineman of the National Gun Victims Action Council. More information about him and his organization can be found at www.gunvictimsaction.org. Elliot, thank you so much.
Well, thanks for having me, Adam. I really appreciate it.